Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mike Merchant, and I'm the Executive Director for the Illinois Commerce Commission. I want to thank you all for joining us here today to recognize the 50th anniversary of Operation Lifesaver. I'm sorry about that. Today, we celebrate past achievements and look ahead to continued efforts in rail safety, education, and outreach. As we stand in the historic Chicago Union Station with Amtrak Engine 203 in the terminal, we're reminded, see tracks, think train. This is one of the many messages and slogans that over the years have provided the basis for educating drivers, pedestrians, and students of all ages. Education is a vital component of our rail safety efforts that has contributed to a reduction of incidents at public rail crossings. With over 7,500 public at-grade crossings in Illinois, there were 124 in 2021, far less than 50 years ago, when the number of crashes per year averaged around 850. For incidents involving trespassers, we've not seen the same decrease. We will continue to address this need with our education, engineering, and enforcement programs in coordination with our public health experts. To address rail safety, a concerted effort by many partners is required, from elected officials to citizens, local, county, state, and federal agencies, railroad unions, police and fire, businesses, volunteers, and grassroots organizations, media, and more. Each is represented here today. And I offer my gratitude for all of the efforts that you do and for being present here today. We would like to recognize and thank Leader Robin Gable for attending here today. We would also like to thank Eric Alleman, the Executive Director for the Chicago Metropolitan Agency for Planning, Sis Killian, Superintendent of Cook County Department of Transportation and Highways, Eric Graff, President of Illinois Operation Lifesaver and Special Agent for the Canadian National Railway, Tina Blumenberg, Grade Crossing Inspector and Trespass Outreach with the Federal Railroad Administration, Michelle Kelm, Executive Director for the Illinois Railroad Association with members of her board and partner railroads, Bob Guy, State Director for SMART, and Rich Lashina from BLET. I would now like to introduce Robin Gable. Leader Gable, thank you.
Good morning. Thank you, Mike, for introducing me and for doing that very eloquent introduction about the program. And it is just so exciting to be here. This is one of my favorite locations in the city of Chicago. So I take the train often to Springfield, so I consider this one of my stomping grounds. So Illinois has long been a leader in supporting highway rail safety programs. Experience has shown robust public education and education programs are very effective in keeping pedestrians, motorists, and rail employees safe from collisions involving trains. Through the unrelenting efforts of Operation Lifesaver and its public safety partners, including Illinois Operation Lifesaver, the number of train motor vehicle collisions have been reduced nationwide from a high in 1972 of roughly 12,000 annual incidents to approximately 2,200 incidents in 2019. That's a huge reduction. And while the number of highway rail crossing collisions, deaths, and injuries have dropped over the past 5 decades, the mission of Operation Lifesaver remains as important as ever. Every 3 hours in the United States, a person or vehicle is hit by a train. Highway grade crossing crashes are more severe than highway collisions and are more likely to result in death and injury. Other major areas of concern are trespassing and suicide. Trespassing incidents that occur in areas along railroad tracks away from the crossing have dropped significantly from 67 in 1975 to 38 in 2021, but the numbers are still too high. To help address this problem, in 2021, I introduced a bill that went on to become state law, expanding the ICC's authority and use of grade crossing protection funds for the purpose of deterring trespassing on railroad property. So I'm hoping that we can have the same results with reducing the deaths and injuries through trespassing that we've had in grade crossings. I look forward to communities, railroads, and the ICC working together to address trespass hotspots in Illinois as provided in the law. To help raise awareness about the importance of rail safety, on March 24th, the Illinois House of Representatives adopted a resolution that I sponsored, House Resolution 750, to congratulate the 50th anniversary of Operation Lifesaver and to commend all freight and passenger railroad stakeholders who have supported the program's progress in the state of Illinois. So I'd like to present this to you. There we go. Are you the director?
Yes.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Really appreciate your efforts.
Oh, there it Good morning, everyone. Just a little humor there. Today we celebrate and recognize the efforts of a small group of railroad engineers and conductors in Covers, Idaho in 1972. They said enough is enough. They wanted to make a difference. It was time to address the needless injuries and deaths at highway rail grade crossings in train versus vehicle collisions. This program became known as Operation Lifesaver, and its objective from the beginning, and still is today, a simple one: to provide railroad safety education, awareness, and outreach to the general public with the sole purpose of saving lives. No one should ever have to experience that knock on their door and waiting at the doorstep is a police officer coming to inform them that their husband, their wife, their child, or other loved one has been killed in a preventable train collision. In 1976, Illinois became the fourth state in the nation to adopt the Operation Lifesaver program. Originally known as the Grade Crossing Safety Council, this group, made up of state and federal officials, railroad employees and suppliers, first responders, and transportation workers, committed to reducing the number of train versus vehicle injuries and fatalities in Illinois through education and outreach. In just 2 years, Illinois saw the number of incidents drop from 984 to 893, and the number of fatalities fell from 103 to 87. See, Illinois carries the distinction of having the second most crossings, the second most miles of track, and the third largest highway system in the nation. With more than 60 railroads operating throughout our state, and this type of risk exposure for the driving public, it's imperative that Illinois maintains an aggressive education and outreach program. I invite and encourage everyone to listen to an Operation Lifesaver presentation. I have found that even experienced motorists stand to learn something new, something that may save their life. Observers say in many cases they can feel viscerally the passion of those conducting our presentations. For many of our presenters have unfortunately had firsthand experience with train vehicle-related investigations that resulted in a death. That pain and sorrow has left them wanting to share our safety messages with the hope that other families won't have to experience that knock on their door. Operation Lifesaver volunteers have provided over 50,000 presentations to audiences exceeding 3 million people, reaching new drivers and providing them with the information they need to make safe choices when crossing tracks in Illinois has played a key role in the 84% reduction in the number of collisions since 1976. While the mission of Operation Lifesaver has been successful, our ultimate goal is to get to 0 crashes and 0 deaths. This means our work is not done and we need more volunteers. Times have changed a great deal since the 1970s and continue to change. How we interact and reach the public in a post-pandemic world presents new challenges, but it also provides the opportunity for new ideas and methods to get the word out, both in person and virtually, reminding the public to stay out of the path of approaching trains, and the train always wins. Over the past 50 years, Operation Lifesaver has forged tremendous partnerships with the school system ranging from kindergarten to 12th graders and driver's ed, the farming community, school bus, trucking, and other professional driving organizations, helping us reach as many drivers and pedestrians as possible, spreading our word and the potentially life-saving messages about railroad safety. If you or someone you know is looking to make a difference and educate the public about railroad safety, we want to hear from you. Our next speaker, an Operation Lifesaver volunteer in Illinois for a long time, has made a difference, as evidenced by being recognized as a 2-time Union Pacific National Presenter of the Year. My friend, Gordon Bowe. Gordy?
Okay, I appreciate it. Hi, my name is Gordon Bowe. I'm a conductor, I should say, was a conductor off the Union Pacific Railroad. Put 40 wonderful years in. But in that 40 years, I noticed there was a lot of misbehavior around train tracks. Moms and dads were running in front of the train to catch the train, and they were on the wrong side. Maybe looking one way as the engineer's blowing the whistle, but never look the other way for that second train. A lot of people don't realize that any time is train time. Chip made a comment that the train is always a winner. Well, yes and no, because the conductor and the engineer are losers too. And that's what got me involved in this program, to go out and save lives. I don't care what group I talk to, bus drivers, first graders, high school kids, I always challenge my audience one thing: go home and tell somebody what you learned today, because I guarantee you learned something today, even if you didn't want to. The newest thing that's out on the market is that wonderful blue sign. I call it my lifeline, because it's there to help you. And you always have your best friend in your hand, the cell phone. Why don't we use it and know how to use it properly so that we can get a train stop possibly and save a life? But with my 25 years of teaching Operation Lifesaver, a good day is going to school, having fun with my audience, giving them the challenge to go out and educate somebody else on what they learned today also. I'm retired. I've been retired since 2016, and I've gone to some schools and the teachers will come up to me and say, "Gordon, I thought you retired." Well, I did, but I can't go to a food pantry and pass out food because I'll probably eat it all. I can't go to a hospital because I'm scared stiff of blood. So why don't I do what I love to do? Educate the public on how to be safe around trains. Thank you very much, and have a wonderful day. Thank you.
Gordon, thank you for sharing your experiences with us. We really appreciate you being here today. I'm Brian Veracruz, the Rail Safety Program Administrator with the Illinois Commerce Commission. And today we've acknowledged our safety and education program, but we also have to have a multi-program approach. We have our grade crossing safety program at the Illinois Commerce Commission that provides a great deal of funding to highway rail crossings, to pedestrian grade separations, and now trespass mitigation. So our other programs are the inspection program, where we have hazardous material inspectors, signal, track, operating practices, and railroad worker safety programs. Altogether, these comprise the program of rail safety at the Illinois Commerce Commission. Since 1976, there have only been 2 state coordinators for Operation Lifesaver. Chip Pugh today has been with us for 22 years, serving in that role. I'd like to recognize his efforts as he plans to retire this summer with those 22 years of experience. Chip, congratulations and thank you for all that you've done. I would like to add a special thank you to Amtrak for hosting us in such a wonderful venue and for everybody coming together for this event. It is truly an area where we all can be together and find a common focus. After some short questions and answers, Mark from Amtrak Maglari will lead us to Engine 203 for some photo opportunities and so that we can see how well Amtrak has wrapped and shares the message of the 50th anniversary of Operation Lifesaver. So thank you so much. With that, we can open to a few questions and answers for me or for any of the speakers, or otherwise we can just go to the engine too, but I'll hold for a minute. Thank you. I think we're set. So Mark, if you wouldn't mind showing us which way. Thanks again.